Hey guys, Jules here for WhatCulture.com. How are you today? I hope you're well on this fine, whatever day this video goes up. I'm also well. I've just had a lentil salad at lunch, which was pretty goddamn awful, and I'm gonna go for a run tonight. Thanks for asking. Also, I'm here to talk to you about video game mysteries. Or more specifically, I'm here to talk to you about video game mysteries that we as gamers couldn't solve and the makers of the game themselves had to lend a helping hand. For the most part, secrets, Easter eggs, and other hidden gems are found through trial and error, data hacking, or just sheer blunt force by the dedicated few who run the internet. But sometimes we have to put down our controllers and ask for help. And even rarer is when the publishers actually tell us about the secrets that we could never have possibly known. So let's look at some of the best today, shall we? Yes, we shall. I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game mysteries that developers had to solve for you. Number 10, Serious Sam Zero Kill Secret Run. So when you think of Serious Sam, you probably think of two things. A dude who gives Duke Nukem a run for his money in the muscle-bound bro-headed department and slaughtering everything that moves, and even some stuff that doesn't move, just for good measure. You probably don't think about peaceful walks through any stretch of the game, but that's exactly what you can do in the level's Sacred Yards, as through a complex series of button pushing and exploring hidden routes, you can make it through the area without firing a single bullet. Now the twist comes that this secret went uncovered for years and only came to light when a massive fan of the game was actually hired by the developers, and he went directly to the CEO of the company and asked about any undiscovered secrets. The boss gave him some clues and left the rest up to him. Kind of brilliant, really. Number 9, Old School RuneScape Cracking the Clue. Old School RuneScape is a hell of a drug, isn't it? The amount of hours that you can spend just talking to some people about absolute dross and then go smash some blocky skeletons is high, as are the people who constantly beg you for items. No, I'm not going to give you any of my super rare things, like my party hat. Why would I, you fool? Anyway, back in 2016, there was an event called Crack the Clue, which tested people with finding 5 pieces of armor by digging in specific points in the game world. As you'd expect, this created a gold rush style effect on the community who sought about stabbing spades into any hole they could. Yet, they could only come up with 4 of the pieces. So for the 5th, the devs kept on saying stuff like, put the clues of the original 4 together, which resulted in people ignoring that and literally trying to dig on every tile in the game. However, finally, the devs managed to get through to the community after a year and basically just fed them the information in order to bring this event to a close. You have to admire the persistence of the fan base though. I mean, every single tile, absolute madness. Number 8, Trials HD, The Unanswerable Question. If you've ever played Trials HD, you'll know that you spend most of your time focusing on keeping your Burke on a bike seated on his saddle, not really paying any attention to what's going on in the background. After all, the game is hard enough without having to be distracted by something like, I don't know, a massive riddle that was playing out across multiple levels and hidden areas. Yet that's totally what is going on, as you zoom by like a mad chav on the way to the offie before it closes to pick up your 3rd bottle of Lambrini of the day. There'll be different points that you'll come across, and you'll be fed clues ranging from Roman numerals, jumbled letters, mathematical theorems, and maps. It sent the fan base into meltdown as they tried in vain to put it all together. The thing is, though, they had the right pieces, but they weren't, according to an interview in 2012 with some of the developers of the game, in the right order. Red Links offered a helping hand as well as a push towards the explanation. And what was that explanation? Well, there's a lovely video which should be showing right now that the devs put out themselves, which I encourage you to watch. But basically, it boils down to, sometimes there isn't an answer to the harder questions in life, but we should all strive to seek to answer them anyway, as that's the only way that we as a race can move forward, which is pretty bloody cool if you ask me. Number 7, Batman Arkham Asylum, The Secret Room. Being the world's greatest detective is a right laugh in the Arkham games, but players were left feeling pretty foolish for having to be told about a secret in the first installment sometime after it was launched by Rocksteady themselves. The secret is a room that was hidden in the Warden's room and required 3 explosive gels to be placed on an unmarked wall in order to reveal the new area. So to be fair, you can't really be blamed for not knowing about it. I mean, I can imagine people putting 1 gel on there to test, but not 3. 3, Jeremy, that's insane. Inside you can find detailed schematics which actually foreshadow the second game and Arkham City's setting. It's a brilliant extra, possibly hidden a bit too well, but it adds to that rich leathery layer that is the Batman. Number 6, Halo 3 Happy Birthday. Now, in the video game developer industry, it's very, very common for workers to hide secrets in the code of the titles they're working on. Some programmers have hidden their initials, others messages of congratulations to anyone who finds them, and as in the case of this entry, lovely little messages to their friends and family. Halo 3 is not the place that I'd go looking for a bit of birthday love, outside of the lovely sound effect you get when you shoot a grunt in the face with those cheats on, but Adrian Perez did exactly that when he sneaked a secret into the loading screen of the game that was just for his wife. Nobody had stumbled across this message, so Perez told people where to look for it in an interview in 2014. People found that if they set the Xbox internal clock to December the 25th and clicked in both thumbnails on the loading screen, you will see a small message saying, "Happy birthday, Lauren." Ah, isn't that nice? Now trust me, I've stuffed a lot of content into Married Women, Just Ask Your Mum for Details, so I can appreciate the effort put in here. And also, that's my one per list. Number 5, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out Bold Bull. Now, a lot of you out there will claim to have known this secret when fighting a man who is not me, but I should totally steal the name of, Bold Bull. The secret being that you can down this steroidal slaphead with a swift shot to the sternum when a camera flash goes off, assuming that you've timed it right. However, for the mass majority, this secret went unknown for years, with people instead focusing on killing the rampaging madman when he's about to unleash his barrage of blows. This time skip has become a great boon for speedrunners, and we have former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata for giving the world this tasty tactic information in a 2009 interview. Number 4, Rogue Squadron 64, NABOO Starfighter hidden in code. So this one is especially weird, as many of the devs working on Rogue Squadron 64 also had no idea about this secret either. Even though LucasArts had their name plastered all over the game, Factor 5, the actual devs, had snuck in the NABOO Starfighter as a playable vehicle and then scrambled the code so well that it went undiscovered for ages, even from those who tried to hack the game using third-party software. It wouldn't have really made much sense either, because the game was actually released before Episode 1 had dropped. Therefore, the vehicle hadn't been seen by the public outside of a few images and trailers. I tell ya, it's the stuff that would have broken the internet if something like that was discovered about an upcoming movie today. But as it stands, the film had come out before the information was drip-fed by Factor 5 on how to actually access the vehicle, leading some people to speculate that it was actually a preventative measure against any copyright issues they might have had between the game and the movie. Number 3, God of War PS4 Hidden Symbols. People were absolutely bowled over when God of War came out last year and set a new benchmark for action spectacle games, as well as parenting tips. Don't worry, I'll be using the "shut up boy" tactic on you and a lot more from now on. As you might expect, with such mass attention, players poured hour after hour into finding out everything the game had to offer, including secret messages on scales, hidden elements in the game, and little nods to the ending that can be found in the opening moments. However, there was still a final Easter egg to be found, according to Corey Barlog, when he spoke at a 2018 Comic-Con panel. This sent players into meltdown as they scoured every rock and rune for a clue. Eventually, it was discovered that 4 symbols in the home of Kratos actually spell Loki, and a familiar symbol can be found on a weaving that the mother was working on. Some found the reveal to be a little disappointing, but it's so clever to think that there was such heavy nods to the lore of the game sitting right under our noses. Number 2, Wasteland 2, a secret red button, and then a more other secret red button. If you've not had the chance to play the Wasteland series, then I honestly encourage you to give them a go. If you like the Fallout series in any shape or form and love the idea of being slapped in the face with a wall of difficulty akin to old NES games, then this is the franchise for you. It's also rife with secrets. However, there was one that stood out amongst the many as being one that was just so utterly confusing for so very long. You see, it all centers around this, a red button. Now I, alongside probably many of you, saw this little bastard and just pressed it quicker than I could, because that's what I do. I mean, I go into my life just saying I see it, I press it, I deal with the consequences. That is my life mantra. However, here, it did nothing. I mean, the screen shook, but nothing else. It drove players round the twist for a full year before Kotaku managed to interview the devs and get them to explain it. They said it opened another secret area on the map and gave some clues as to where to look. This resulted in you finding another secret red button and a man called Aaron Twat. It might be Twat, but I prefer Twat because it sounds like twat. When you press the button, he screams that you've doomed everyone and runs off. It's confusing to say the least, until you realise that Twat was actually a real-life comedian and the red buttons are a joke on the fact that he used to go by the stage name Red Buttons. Yeah, it's as weird as it sounds. And number 1, Metal Gear Solid 4 Kojima reunites a family. Now, this is stretching the premise a bit, but it's a fantastic story nonetheless. Hideo Kojima is what you would term as an auteur game developer, somebody who's risen to the status where he can just do almost whatever he wants, however he wants. And one of his weirder power moves was actually to use a casting call to reunite and smooth tensions between a father and son. Now, Akio Otsuka had been providing the Japanese voiceover for various snakes across the series' timeline and was the son of famous Japanese voice actor Chikao Otsuka. The pair were going through some rough waters, and so upon learning this, Kojima secretly hired the father to come in and play the voice of Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 4. The surprise meeting and subsequent time spent together smoothed things over, and we're left with less of a mystery being solved, but a real-life problem being solved by the actions of a video game developer. Like I said, it stretches the premise, but it's bloody lovely nonetheless. And there we go, those were 10 video game mysteries that had to be solved by the developers. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, and I just want to take this time, I'm not going to be talking about merchandise and stuff like that I usually do. I'm just going to say, hope you are well. As I said before in a previous video, it is the start of the year, and I hope that you are treating yourself as fairly as you can. Now, don't mean that just like in a sort of health sense, I mean that in a mental sense as well. You take care of yourselves and those around you, alright? Make sure you're there for people. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome, never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.